Hello everybody, long time no see indeed. Oh, hang on, let's get rid of those. Don't think I can really need my sunglasses this time of night. Let me know if the levels are all good, guys. I hope they are. It's been a little while streaming, but we're back up and running, hurrah. And I feel like my seat is sunk, or I'm heavier than I was the last time I was sat here, so... But yeah, hope you're all good. So a little bit delayed starting now. I just noticed that basically Google have changed something about YouTube and how they do the interface for all the streaming on YouTube, and yeah, just took a little while longer for it to sort of register that I was actually streaming from OBS. So I can see that it's already moaning about me about something about keyframes and stuff, so I don't really know. Well, obviously I know exactly what a keyframe is, but I've not actually seen that kind of message before, but in the YouTube streaming context. But hopefully with my super duper fibre broadband it's okay, so hopefully we don't get too behind schedule. So yes, long time no see. So it's great to see Sabretooth Barnacle here. Lovely to meet you at last weekend at SWAG, Southwest Amiga Group. And Error 42, long time no see indeed. I only saw you last weekend, so gosh. But otherwise on the streaming it has been a while, hasn't it? And it's great to see also Anthony Roberts. So hey there Anthony, hope you're doing well. Hey there Jan, hope you're well. So it's good to see you too. And Try to Wave Zod, I hope it's good for you guys. Yeah. Nice Final Fight remix. Yeah, I totally love this. If you just Google Final Fight remix Amiga, it's by Psylocke. It's fantastic. I got flagged up about it from Amiga Ireland. If you follow Amiga Ireland on Twitter, because I don't do the old Facebook, follow Amiga Ireland on Twitter if you're on there, and obviously you get links to their podcast, and highly recommended. Erla and the guys, they're just very interesting to listen to, because obviously you can find out all about the Amiga Ireland event, which happens every January. So yes, yeah, great to see you. So it has been a while. I've just been really busy, as you might see behind me. If you follow me on Twitter, I post all sorts of jibber jabber on there, but basically today I've been recording my sample lesson for my Japanese adventures, hopefully coming up in the next year or so, and so that's what all that is there. And just generally I've been having a chill weekend, so, and yeah, it's just nice to finally feel that I've done all my work, because I had a lot of photo processing to do, and I just really had to get out of the way just to feel that I was in a good place, that I could concentrate on the artwork, and just having a good time really. So I hope you guys are all well, and we're going to have a bit of fun this evening. We'll mostly primarily focus on pixel art, but we'll probably do a bit of gaming if we get half the chance. So yeah, so all good. So I'm glad that this stream is working out for you guys. I don't know what Google or YouTube are on about with my keyframe settings. It's unfortunately my technicalities are set about 20 years back. I understand technicalities from 20 years ago, technicalities today. So you had to dive out early to Cardiff. Well, I'm glad that you wandered over anyway, Sabretooth, because, oh my gosh, your Cardiff accommodation was cancelled suddenly when you was going around. Oh, did you get somewhere to stay? Otherwise, I hope your car seat was very comfortable. Oh dear, Try to Wave, packing a cigarette, so they're bad for you. That, I hope it had nothing to do whatsoever with that photograph that I posted the other day. So I don't know when that was taken. I think it was 2006, and that's 13 years ago. And it might have been a year or so after that I gave up smoking, but yeah, very glad that I don't anymore. So, but not that I'm some fitness junkie, but I cycle 50-60 miles a week, and yeah, just even the smell of it these days makes me gag. So, but if you enjoyed it, fine. I'm a libertarian in that regard. It's, you know, if you enjoyed it, far be it for me to tell you what to do. So life tends to get the top of the best time. Try to wave. Well, you don't need me telling you that you shouldn't be smoking them, because at the end of the day, you know, the thing is that we all have our vices. I have my odd little beer every now and then. Well, most weekends, to be fair. Try not to drink in a week as much as possible, which generally succeeds. I would say probably about 45 weeks of the year. But yeah, I guess the alcohol's my vice. But yeah, hopefully it made you feel a little bit better regardless. So yes, Sabretooth was indeed there briefly, error 42. So yeah. Not seen any drop frames, error 40, thank you. So, oh, Anthony, you was at Swag, was you? Sorry, you. It's like all of these events, isn't it? I was there and I did my best to try and mingle better than I did last time, because I had to leave a little bit earlier. I had one that was back in May, I think it was. But even so, the day just, whew, it was gone. And yeah, but I was up with a couple of guys that I stayed with. Tim Santian, he did the sensible thing. He went to bed at a reasonable hour. But myself and Chris and oh god, the names just escaped me. But we was up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I said that I wasn't going to be having a session, and 2-ciders in, I decided now was the time for another 2-ciders and some gin, and so we stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning playing Rastan and just generally talking Amiga, which was awesome. So hey there Phil, hope you're doing well. So but yes, I don't go to all of the events by any stretch of imagination. Sadly I can't make Play Expo in Blackpool this year. I'll be busy working as got my photographer hat on, but as I'll be photographing a wedding that weekend down in Devon. But if I'm at Swag or where am I going to probably next? Amiga Ireland, I guess. If you're at these events, do wander over and say hi. It would be lovely to see you, and yeah, so don't be shy and it's all good. So try to wave, you're right, Rastan is a classic and playing it on a keyboard sucks. But yeah, that's another story. So it was your first, Anthony, was it? It was a great event. Swag is awesome, and I wish I had the magazine that alerted me to Swag's existence back in the late 90s in Amiga format, but it's long gone now. But I'm so happy that I'm able to go back again. So talking of Swag, awesome things happened at Swag. First of all, so many of you awesome people were there, so that's the most awesome thing of all. The second most awesome thing is basically a place packed out with Amigas. What's not to like about that? But amazingly, I generally don't win things in life. I'm somebody who just I go in for the fun of it and kind of things, and but I usually have the raffle ticket that's not got the magic numbers on, shall we say? So, but anyway, so Workbench was sponsoring the weekend, and you know, it was so kind of Scott to sort of put in so much investment into an event like this, because, you know, let's be honest, as much as retro gaming and retro computing is, I would say, having a bit of a I don't know, it's kind of in vogue at the moment, I would suggest. It's still very much a passion thing, isn't it? And if you're trying to earn a little bit of extra pocket money or something for it, it's not always easy. And you know, for Scott to you know, sponsor an event like this was so awesome. And basically, he goes to these events and he spends the whole day recapping Amigas, making repairs and so forth. You know, Tim Sansian, he was there, he brought his CD32 along, Scott sorted that out, and he's just working the whole time, you know, and I just feel like the guy needs some chill time, but here he is, giving up his time. But even what's more super awesome than that is that he organised a raffle where he gave away not just an Amiga 500 in the box, oh no, he also had an Amiga 600, and but not to be you know, sort of calling it there, he also raffled off an Amiga 1200, an Amiga 1200. Now, guys, these little beauties are not the cheapest that they've ever been, let's be honest. And anyway, so 3 Amigas being auctioned off. I mean, you know, just off of the back of a, not to obviously highlight anything here, try to wave, back of a fag packet calculation, I reckon the average Amiga 1200 these days, you know, it's been recapped and well looked after. Exterior condition could be a bit, you know, comme ci, comme ça, bit that's this or the other. It's, you know, you're probably looking at very least 250 quid, I'd say. Amiga 600s, you know, they're going up in popularity. You know, maybe £100 for a cheap one, 150 quid for a good one. An Amiga 500s, you know, last year I picked up an Amiga 500 for 40 quid. I challenge you to find a half decent Amiga 500 these days for less than £80. Anyway, so Scott very kindly gave up his time and his money to raffle off these Amigas. Yes, let's catch up everybody. Hey, Mr. Bobband25, nice to see you, peace. And great to see you, Phil. Phil, I've got something for you. It's coming up in the corner. Jimmy Vicious, swag is a blast, and it's a 2.5 hour drive for you. It's a 3-hour drive for me, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. You only live once, as they say. So, you know, if you get a chance to come down, enjoy the fun, it's, as you well know, just near Bristol in a little town of Yate. And basically, I highly recommend it. So, it'd be great to see you there. Try to Wave Sod, yes, it's in Yate. It's near Bristol. I live near Brighton. So, and when I say near Brighton, I live about 15 miles from Brighton. But yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah. Jimmy, any Amiga users in the East Midlands? Well, of course, obviously you've got Dan and Ravi of the Retro Hour. They're based in the East Midlands, so do hit them up on Twitter if you can. Oh, that's good to hear, Sabretooth. So, and yes, Error 42 is indeed in the East Midlands. I forget. So, there are friends all over the place. So, there are plenty of Amigos who love their Amigas all over the place. So. Indeed, Flamily IT, yes. It was great to meet you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I didn't see your CPC. Now, I'm guessing that it was it the... I'm not very up on my CPCs, you'll have to excuse me, but there was like a 664. Is that the one that's the rare one? I do correct me if I'm wrong. So, but yeah, thank you so much for your kids doing the draw. So it was lovely to meet you. So, yeah. So, obviously some of you are aware of the news. I'm just going to get something that I have for Phil here. Now, this was just a coincidental pop-up. I'd retained the Comic Setter cover discs from this very issue of can't get the words out. CU Amiga Magazine. Well done, Vicky, you done it. And it's from January 1995. And this was about the time that I began to, let's get this right side, that I began to switch over from probably reading if I could find the words, I'd be a rich person. Okay. This was about the time of, well, back then, still can't get the words out, that I switched over from reading Amiga format primarily over to CU Amiga, although they did get better with Nick Veach at the helm. So, but anyway, so January 1995. So, I picked this up last weekend at Swag because very kindly someone was giving away magazines. Basically take them. So I thought, well, Comic Setter, you know me, I love my graphics and so forth, and so I was leafing through, and it's actually quite a good issue actually, because it's probably about the last really good showing for Amiga games and so forth. And so I always turn to letters pages because they're always quite fun, I find, because it gives you a little bit of an insight into what the actual, you know, the people who were Amiga fans back in the day were thinking. So let's have a little bit of Jackanory time. The title of this story is PCs Are Crap. nice little subtle nuance there. Help! I'm a loyal Amiga follower. Oh, actually, owner. I'm making up words already. I'm not paraphrasing, I promise. But I go to a school full of PC owners who do not seem to like Amigas very much. Boo! They probably just got, busy sorting out their IRQ interrupts and DMA channels and stuff like that. All they ever talk about is how much faster the PC is than the Amiga 500. Well, boys and their toys, huh? I tell them that the Amiga 500 is a very old machine, and compare a PC against an A500 not very fair. I agree. Very well written. The worst thing is, they don't know about the Amiga 4000 030. My god, if they ever found out about the 040, we would be really in trouble. Which can easily outperform most PCs. I informed them that an unexpanded Amiga A1200 is better than an unexpanded 486, but they find excuses. Pride before a fall, as they say, and also the protection element of an ego, I would suggest. Anyway, personally, I think that most recent interest in PCs is just a phase. I think it is as well. January 1995, yes, definitely a phase. Anyway, so, I mean, who wants to spend £1,000 on a machine that goes beep? Quite agree. I mean, that Sound Blaster 16 is rotten. Okay, the graphics are good. That is a point. But only if you buy a special card, which there are many different sounds, and most are expensive. They are quite expensive. Windows looks crap compared to Workbench, which is a lot easier to use and works very well with DOS. Yeah, Windows, well, it had 16 colours, but it still didn't look like System 7 on the Macintosh, but Magic Workbench looked awesome though. What can I do to show that Amigas are not just games machines, which PC users seem to be turning into lately, but a very user-friendly computer, which can do just about anything you want to? Well, who could have written something like that? Well, let's ask ourselves, who could have written something like... Sorry, Phil. I'm so sorry. There is a certain... Let's see if my web camera will actually focus for once in its life. A certain... Oh, let's go. Philip Heron in Northern Ireland. Is that you, Phil? Sorry. I'm so sorry. Brilliant letter, though. Yes. January 1995, Philip Heron, Northern Ireland. I believe it is you, Phil. So, anyway, Alan Dykes, the editor of CU Amiga, had some very good advice. Questions to ask your PC-owning friends. Why can't they directly address more than 640 kilobytes of memory? Very good question. Nobody needs more than 640k, remember? 2. So what about DMA/IRQ conflicts? Haha. See, that's a good one, isn't it? Because that was always a problem with MSCDEX. Gosh, where do these things come from? 3. How does it feel to pay more for the same game as the Amiga owners? Burn. Why are they still using 10-year-old technology? You can show them full hardware multitasking, currently being sold to PC owners as a major new development, for lots of extra cash of course, which Amiga has supported as standard since the Amiga 1000. Well, thank you very much, Alan Dykes. It's been very nice to have some feedback. I shall definitely use this tomorrow at work to see if they might purchase me an Amiga A4000 030. Anyway, Phil, awesome letter. I'm sure it's you. So, right, let's catch up. Sorry, I've been a bit on a Jackanory there, haven't I? So, yes. So yeah, oh great, Flamily, I'm glad I got that right. Hey there, Neil, hope you're doing well. So it's good to see you, Regman Cave, in the chat. So Phil's laughing. Hey Dave, how you doing? Thank you so much for last weekend and organising the swag. I felt like I didn't get a chance to thank you properly last weekend, but another awesome event, and I will endeavour to do my best to be there in January as well. So Phil knows what this is. Yeah, try to wave. See you's awesome. Phil, don't hide. So. Oh, hey Ravi, how you doing? Yeah, see you became my fave in its later years. Although Amiga format did pull it back quite considerably. I don't know what it was, but around about mid-95 through to 96. Sorry, I'm just trying to rise my seat up because it's sunk. And it's not because I've had too many crisps. I will do some pixel art tonight, folks. I just want to find a way. One of the things is to make the seat go up. Bear with. I don't know. But anyway, regardless. So, yeah, so CU became my go-to read, so, yeah. Amiga Action, I went to CU Amiga. That's interesting, Tidal Wave, actually, because obviously EMAP had the One Amiga, which was obviously the sister publication, wasn't it? So, I know, wasn't it, Phil? It was a great issue, and they also had Hypercache on there as well, which really sped things up, so, yes. Yeah, that's the one, Ravi, I remember that as well, so PC Lamers and Windows, you're right, so PC, it won't catch on, it won't, absolutely. Phil, I don't know, but I would say they were a wise sage that wrote that, so. Telephone? What about the telephone? So, Bill Gates is on the phone. Okay, great, so it was you. Thank you, Phil. I'm not saying it to show you up in the slightest. It was, I just innocently picked up that very issue, and I just thought, wow, that name rings a bell. Yeah, that wasn't the reason I picked up the magazine though, but yeah, amusing to look back on those things, isn't it? So, and obviously, those of you who have any sense will be busily looking on archive.org for occurrences of my name and what I used to write into magazines. So yes. Hey Anthony, how you doing? We missed you last weekend, but we had an awesome time. And hey Kev, how you doing? Great to see you. Great to see you. So you were so excited to be seeing them in the magazine at the newsagent. I know that feeling, Phil. I know it well. Walking back home, not really watching any of the traffic, walking down the road, traffic coming towards you. There was no pavements where I lived, and the moment of like when your heart throbs and you see your name in print, it was amazing. So yes. You mostly use your PC emulator in Amiga. Well, it's a good thing. So, and ESCOM will indeed ride to the rescue. I definitely feel that with Bernard Van Tienen at the helm, you know, sort of looking after business decisions, I should imagine that the ledgers and the accounts will be in tip-top order, and that all will be great. So, thank you, Manfred Schmidt. I have every faith in you. And also, shout out for Petro. Awesome mouse mats. So, anyway, so yeah, there was some interesting Amiga format covers, weren't there, back then? I remember taking in a copy of Amiga format that had Gillian Anderson on it, and that was probably the first Amiga format cover that had interested any of the guys at school in the Amiga for a good 3 or 4 years by that stage. So yes. Great to see you also, Abraxas. Thank you so much. We're going to put your Amiga 1200 to use. So thank you. Hopefully you see the start of the video, but I was basically extolling your praises of how generous you were last week and working like a banshee. And yeah, so absolutely. So Rav, you're right. It was mad that Amiga Active was still going in 2001. So yeah. So. You wrote to See You Amiga Jimmy asking for a job. I wrote him a review and it was truly terrible. Didn't even reply. I'm not surprised. That's a shame. Don't ever give up, because I did actually get the chance to write for Amiga format originally in their reader reviews section, which obviously looking back on it was a ploy to fill up the scant pages of the magazines, but yeah, and then eventually I managed to make my freelancing debut and also outro in the very last issue, but that's another story which I'll go into another day. But yeah, I did reviews for Amiga format back in the day, getting PCX in this case running on your Amiga, and yeah, we can even see if we look, if I get the magazine the right way around for a start, what my Amiga Workbench looked like in, well, I suppose this was, what was it, 1999 apparently, so quite late actually. There we go. What did I reckon of PCX? PCX is really a testament to the Amiga's power. Wow. There you go. But enough of that, so we're going to actually do something which actually matches up with the title of this stream, because I've been chatting for half an hour now, But to be fair, we've had a lot to catch up on, so yes. Still have a swag recap include. Abraxas, I really hope that you have a chance to chill out at one of these events. You can't work through all of them, I mean, unless it's lucrative, in which case keep on turning up, but otherwise we do hope that you'll be able to chill and enjoy an event where you don't have to be working all the time, so yes. Yeah, I totally agree, Dave. Zeb and Scott do need to get out of their seats more, but they're awesome. They really are truly awesome. So I hope I haven't missed any important chat points. Do throw them back my way. If I've missed your message, I will endeavour to catch up. So yes. Have I thought of writing for one of the modern mags like Fusion? Asked Neil. Not specifically, no. It's only been a year or so that I've been back into the what I suppose is now the retro computing or retro gaming scene, and it's been a while, but maybe. I mean, let's face it. What I did was at the very tail end of sort of Future Publishing's involvement with Amiga magazines and stuff, and which is a great shame because life could have panned out rather differently if that freelance gig had gone well. But that's just the way it is. But I do love writing, always have loved writing. But maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to it. Unfortunately, my knowledge of what's happened in the last 20 years is patchy at best, but what I remember from sort of the late 80s through to the late 90s is still as fresh as a daisy, which is very bizarre. So you remember reading that film? Well, do check it out. It's on archive.org, and there are a few other things of mine on archive.org. I'm sure you'll find them. So particularly also about Macintosh emulation, there's quite a bit on that. So yes, I'm just going to go and get myself another beverage, and we're going to fire up the Amiga 1200 that I won! Oh, amazing! At Swag last weekend, so don't go anywhere, folks. I shall be right back. Okay, so last weekend, aided by Flamley IT's wonderful children who came over and said hi, so I actually won an Amiga 1200 last weekend from Scott Workbench or Abraxas in the chat, which was pretty awesome to say the least. So I would love to, Neil, I really would, so I'll drop you a line about it and we'll go from there. So I'm trying to ask if I've made any of my own comics. Yes, when I was younger I did, yeah, it's something I've not done for a long time, but more of that probably, maybe we'll talk about that when I'm doing some drawing. So anyone knows the Amigas under the sofa? Yeah, quite the stash. It is a bit, isn't it? Yeah. Look at all of that. So basically, checkmate. Amiga 500 keyboard, and just in the corner there, oh, that's the Amiga 600. I didn't realise I put it underneath there. But there's more where that came from. Oh. So, and anybody who says that I'm not into Amiga seriously needs to get their eyes tested. Should have gone Specsavers. Yes, you will be seeing some AGA stuff, Jimmy, but maybe not tonight. So, hey there, Noe. Oh wow, did they? That's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, Amiga 600, Amiga 500 essentially in a checkmate case, Amiga 500 underneath the bed in the bedroom. Yeah, that's it, because the rest of them are right here. So yes, right. So let's crack on with what we're going to do today. So let's go wonky cam a minute. So there it is. There is, oh, and also myself. So let's go infinity. Yeah, you don't need to listen to her. She doesn't really know what she's on about really most of the time. Yeah, so there it is. This is the Amiga 1200 that I won at Swag last weekend. As you can see, it's not switched on at the minute. We will be sorting it out very shortly. And yeah, Amiga 1200, who would have thunk it? So yes, it's pretty awesome to say the least. One thing that doesn't really come across in this video is that it's possibly going to need a bit of retro brighting, maybe, if I want to, because it is somewhat yellow at the front, but that doesn't distract from just how awesome this machine really is, because I do have my Amiga 1200 that I picked up last year. Now, this is not easy to do one-handed, but maybe this will give you a bit of an idea. This is my other Amiga 1200. Who thought you could need two of these babies, but there you are. And as you can see, there is quite a colour difference. Yeah, but I shall endeavour to try and find a good use of them that isn't just Super Skid Marks 2. But yeah, they're absolutely beautiful, and oh, actually that really does show the difference, doesn't it? So yeah, but I don't want to say that the point of yellowing is a point of contention, because actually, at the end of the day, what matters with these machines is what you do and what you play on them. And my hope is, with what I do over the coming years, is just to enjoy these things to the very full. So that's the beautiful machine that we're going to be using tonight. So right, so it does look different on camera, so I'll get back to that in a minute, Dave. Thanks, Phil. Yes. It is the same Amiga. I think it's just the fact that we're under tungsten light now, and that tends to make things look cooler. So don't retro-bright it because it makes it brittle. Well, I would have to get somebody who knows what they're doing if they ever do it. So I'm not going to paint it, Dave. Absolutely not. So right. So let's fire it on. So let's just go full screen a minute. Let that boot up. Hopefully we're all good. One thing that always strikes out to me is that I'm so used to using the Amiga 600, and my word is the oh, I've already got a disc in there. I was gonna let that beautiful kickstart. I can't get the words out tonight. Kickstart screen. There we go. Kickstart screen play out. So anyway, so there we go. Look at that. Always loved this screen. I know the insert disc from sort of like Kickstart 1.2 and 3 and all the rest of them, 1.1 and whatnot, are probably the most nostalgic for most people, but it has to be said there is a great deal of beauty in this Kickstart 2 and later insert disc screens. So, and I obviously the reason Hyperion have put the boing ball on there because of trademark clash, I should guess, which is somewhat ironic, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that whole hornet's nest, but the checkmark logo is where it's at as far as I'm concerned. The boing ball is cool, but on Kickstart screen for me it always should be the checkmark, but I'm a bit old school. So let's boot up Workbench, and I just want to show you a couple of things before we get started. So I've literally not done anything to this machine, obviously. I've got no real reason to go out and you know, put an accelerator in this as such, because I've already got an Amiga 1200 which has just such a device, and you know, it's very easy just to get busy modding these machines, shall we say, and then realise that actually what enchanted you in the first place was the fact that they were well, just wonderful as they were, really. My Workbench 3 disc is up in the loft at the minute, so the next best thing I could find was a Workbench 2.1 disc, and I just want to show you basically that really this is very much stock. There's no hard disk, no compact flash in here, and we'll load up sysinfo, and there should be no surprises here, as it's just, you know, an ECO20, 2 mega chip RAM, and that's your lot. And sysinfo reckons this is excellent, and I agree. So I remember the first Amiga 1200 that I bought in 1996, and my dad successfully haggled the sellers down from £175 all the way down to 165. Winner. So, anyways, but I just wanted to point out that this gets a pretty good score on sysinfo, but if you have one of these PCMCIA RAM cards for your Amiga 600, or you're thinking of upgrading your Amiga 1200's RAM with one of these, don't. There's a good reason for it, because this I shouldn't have closed down so quickly there. Oh no, it's still there. So, basically, you can see that sysinfo reckons this is roughly twice as fast as an Amiga 600, just with chip RAM in there. But you don't want to put one of these in your Amiga 1200. Let me show you. Let's just turn that off. Pop that into the PCMCIA slot. Now, the bonus is that you will actually end up with some fast RAM, but unlike an Amiga 600, this is actually going to have a detrimental impact on your machine when it comes to speed. So you don't want to plug one of these in, you want to get yourself a trapdoor expansion of some description. The technical reason for it is that the PCMCIA interface on the Amiga 1200 is virtually identical to the 600. It's on a 16-bit interface through the Gale chip. And what that means is that basically your 32-bit 68020, ECO20 if you want to be pedantic, which I tend to be, I guess, that's going to actually be slowed down by the fact that it can't fetch 32-bit values in one clock cycle. So it has to essentially, yeah, it just gets all very messy. And the effect is that whilst you have more memory, as is shown up here, and you end up with more chip memory because less of it is being used to display the screen and so forth, is your actual overall speed of the system is going to be, well, not quite halved. It's going to be roughly about 2/3 of the speed that it would otherwise be running at. So I really don't recommend PCMCIA memory for your stock Amiga 1200s. They're just generally bad news, really. So, and we'll see what the scores on the doors, Marjorie Doors. There you go. It's reckons it is 0.69. No jokes, please. The speed of a Amiga 1200 with no extra PCMCIA memory in there. So yeah. But now we are talking. So don't do this at home, folks. It's just not recommended. So, without further ado, let's switch the 1200 off again. Take this out. So because we're going to use its stock, and we're going to boot up Deluxe Paint for AGA. So, and we're actually going to do something that is actually relevant to the actual topic of this video now. But I'm guessing that, generally speaking, when I do these streams, it's mostly going to be Amiga fans. You're going to enjoy this kind of stuff. Maybe the pixel artists are already just like, oh my gosh, when's she going to get on with it? Wonderful, I've got the right disc. Now again, my Deluxe Paint 4 AGA discs are up in the loft, so I'm just using my copies here, so yeah, all good stuff. So we're definitely back to the old school tonight, so I love that little notice. .0 upgrade must be made, no way. Well, maybe, but it's doing okay, so Yeah, error 42. It did cross my mind at various points about putting 1200 in there, but to be honest with you, with the efforts that Steve went to obviously provide me with a working ACA, it would seem very disrespectful to do that, if I'm honest. And also the fact that, you know, this 1200 was sold as a whole, not sold, I won it as a whole system from Scott, and I just feel that with those two things combined, yes, it may make more sense and in some respects, but on the other hand, I just feel that it would be disrespectful on both parties. That I feel that Steve went the extra mile to get me a working ACA that worked in the checkmate, and also the 1200 was, you know, I won this, and I feel that it deserves to be used as it is, as it were. So yeah, so is recapping essential? Try to wave. It is really, definitely. So the reason they probably didn't anti-alias it, Phil, is probably because it's using the copper to draw the actual rainbow colours. So yeah. Dave asked, do I sleep in the loft? All the time. I have the choice between my comfortable bed in the warm downstairs or up on some rafters in the loft with some itchy lagging around me, and I always choose the latter. So Jimmy, the 600 is not affected in nearly the same way because it's a 16-bit machine, so it's, yeah, it's only 1200 that's affected. So I have no idea Try to Wave when it comes to the vampires, unfortunately. I think the later versions will be able to do AGA, but with Deluxe Paint you're pretty much limited to the default Amiga chipsets, because whilst they wanted to make Deluxe Paint RTG compatible, obviously with Commodore going down, they never actually really finished it, so really you're limited to the native chipset of your Amiga, so ECS generally, but if you've got a Vampire with the AGA extensions, you're probably going to be able to run Deluxe Paint AGA on it without a problem. So right, so let's do some pixel arts, folks, because I have been waffling far too long. So here's Deluxe Paint AGA, and we'll just load this off a floppy disk. I gotta love those floppy disk sounds. I hope you find the streams interesting, guys. You know, if my waffle's a bit too much, you just give me a shout and I'll cut it down next time. But it's been a long time since we streamed, and it's good to catch up with you all. So yeah, let's see where we've got to. And obviously D-Paint AGA is a heftier application, so it takes a little bit longer to load. Pass the word, not the disk. Let's go. 256 colours. We won't be using nearly all of those tonight though. Okay, let's swap discs. So yes, I appreciate that obviously my waffle might be a little bit distracting from the main topic at hand, but we're going to get on with it now. Oh, I love swapping discs. I wonder why it needs that. It must be because it needs the ASL library. It's in there. Oh no. Why would it need... Oh, it's just probably because that's SIS, I guess. I forget this version doesn't use ASL library, does it? In case you're wondering, Amiga Standard Library is what it stands for. So it's basically just a series of libraries that allow for a consistent user interface when it comes to... Oh, that must be the Workbench disk. There we go. Basically for choosing files, answering yes or no prompts, and that kind of thing. So let's load outline final. And we're going to have a look at Ryoga Hibiki. Okay, yes, right. Okay, cool. So there we go. Right, let me go full screen here. When I say full screen here, it's basically just bringing the Amiga's output directly onto my screen rather than looking through OBS. Oh, thanks, Aaron42. So, yeah, Jimmy Vicious is right. RTG works really well on personal paint, so yes, I waffle, says Dave, but it'd be a bit boring if I said no. You're quite right, so I'm never going to change, so... your YouTube videos fill on 40% Ranma videos, and rightly so. I think you need to be watching more Ranma personally. Sabretooth, I do have an external floppy drive, but it's in the other room, so... Ah, you love that. Oh, I'm glad you like the waffle as well, try the way to say. Everyone loves waffle, yes. But yeah, the floppy disk sounds very nostalgic, isn't it? So, yeah, I like it as well. So, yeah. You've got 3 Kumana drives, the old Cax drives, on the 500. Top tip, Phil, as I feel that I should share something with you after your show and tell, which has been separated by 24 years or thereabouts, is potato waffles work very well in a toaster. I've never been electrocuted, as they don't seem to have any water content, so if you want quick waffles, potato waffles this is, pop them in a toaster. So, let me just get my phone in a place where I can actually see it. So, I drew this little picture of Ryoga recently. I made a bit of a mistake when I did the little pixel art sort of speed draw that I put together, because I actually did the wrong little hiragana symbol there. I put Tsu there instead of Yo, and I'm just going to correct that. This isn't going to stay, but I felt slightly embarrassed that I had got Yo wrong, so but you know, I'm getting my pronunciation of even the English wrong now. I'm learning. There we go. So, there's my Yo. It's a bit too big. I'll just cut it down a little bit there. We'll put a little black outline on it like so. We'll stamp that down there. We'll do F2 for colour mode. We can use the line tool. Like so. And then I'm going to pick up my brush again. There we go. I got it right this time. Yoga. Right. Anyway, that's just me being silly. So we need to finish this off. So no worries, Jimmy. It's great for you to see you. So no worries. See you soon. So they are waffly versatile. You're right. So let's increase the colours because I need to load in a palette. And I'm going to take this up to 32 colours, which makes this OCS/ECS compatible. And I'm just going to... Where am I going to load the colours from? I don't have them with me. That's a good point. I really want to use the same colour palette which I've been working on, to be honest with you. I forgot to save that. Never fear. Here's one I prepared earlier. Gosh, this is a fragmented stream if I ever saw one, so... Right, so... Amiga 600 to the rescue. Come on, there's an RGB port in there somewhere. There it is. Right. And we need a mouse. We need a mouse, but we could use a mouse. So, on we go. Whoopsie daisy, I forgot to save my palette, so... Hey Gadget, how you doing? Hope you're alright. Hey, yes, you're right, Error 40. All the good people turn up, don't they? So, just me being a noodler. So what I'm doing is I'm basically loading up the Amiga 600 here just to get my palette, which obviously is quite important in this case because obviously this is going to be shared with the other assets that I've drawn already. So I'm just going to save this quickly. Oh, Blinky A600. Truth be told, the Amiga 600 is always going to be my first love, isn't it? So let's just bring up the most recent thing that I've finished on here, so I'm going to guess it's going to be not Treeborn Girl. It's going to be Ranma Cat Fu. Okay, great. So we'll go with attack alternative 1. So let's load up into D-Paint. You're good. That's good, Gadget. I'm glad to hear that. If you don't subscribe to Gadget UK164 on YouTube, I highly recommend it. Hardware genius. This is the way I describe Gadget. I understand technicalities of Amigas, but as I've always said, if you see me with a soldering iron, report me to the police and run. So let's just save this palette onto disk. Here's one I made earlier, folks. Not AFO. DF0, come on. As you can see, I'm really well prepared tonight. Let's just call this a palette. I don't know why I'm putting that underneath it at the end of the file name, but I just tend to put .col at the end of my palettes. Interested in watch use of D-Paint animation. Yeah, we're going to be doing quite a bit of it tonight, Gadget. So we've got that. We have the power. I've got the power, but you don't need to hear me singing. So let's put the 1200 back on. Thank you very much. 600. Let's get the take a bow. There we go. Plug this little one back in again. There's an RGB port somewhere in here. There it is. Oh, and mousy mouse. Let the mousy mouse do the clicking for you. Voila. Oh, that's cool. Right, let's see if we can guess which one's the D-Paint disc. Let's go with that one. Ooh, well, there you go. Right, so we have our palette, we have our picture. We were actually going to do some pixel art only an hour after I said that we was going to be starting, but we've had a lot to... Oh, it's the Workbench disc. Never mind. Oh, well, at least you can see what this would have actually been like back in the day. Essentially, it would have been just as confusing as it is right now. Mostly because I'm a little bit of a scatterbrain. So that's authentic. And, yeah, we would be waiting for floppy disk to boot. So this was how it was done in the old days. And, I'm not going to lie, I loved every minute of it. I really genuinely did, and I still do. So, let's get cracking. So the plan is tonight is to finish off painting in the basic character of Ryoga, which we've got. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to animate this as part of my little animated short that I'm putting together, which I hope to debut at Amiga Island in January. So yes. So I drew Ryoga-kun probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. If you're not following me on Twitter, and you are on Twitter, do follow me on Twitter. I'm under LabPixelVixen. And on there I share little, what do you call some, I've forgotten the word of it now. Oh dear, oh, my brain's gone blank. You know, where you speed things up. Yeah, so if you watch those, they give you a little bit of a sort of an insight into what I've been up to. In the meantime, time lapse, that's the word. Right, so I have my palette there. We're good to go. Hooray! Yes, we do. Good things do come to those who wait. You're right there, try to wave. C64 takes an Amiga distro and trained me to be very patient with computers. I agree. I'm not sure that I always get that right, so, but I do try to remember that things were a lot faster than they used to be. So let's get rid of that because, as I said, it's a little bit wrong. And I'm just going to increase the colour palette to 32. Like so. And let's load our palette in. I'm not sure why it's asking for the D-Paint just for DF0, but that was just the way things were. Great, and in we go. I think if there were any, no. I think if there are any questions about whether I stream from real hardware or not, I think they've been comprehensively answered tonight, haven't they? So, there we go. And then what we can do is we can just go to colour, remap. And that will do a rough approximation of where... I wouldn't say that was a rough approximation of where we were, D-Paint. Anyway, let's clean this up because this looks a bit strange at the minute. So, we're just going to... I can see a problem here. Let's do this another way. You're not getting that disc back. No, I'm sorry. You've had enough. Right, okay. I'm just going to recolour this very quickly. This is because I coloured in Ryoga against my better judgment, shall we say, before I put together the little time lapse, and I really ought not to have done because it just makes my life more difficult when it actually comes to colouring in properly. Oops. Good. So I have my palette here, and first of all I'm just going to use probably this shade down here for the actual skin tone. So V will always give you the vertical line tool. That's where I refer to it because obviously it draws horizontal lines as well. But basically then you can press the full stop key and it will give you the single pixel brush. You can fill in like so. So the task this evening is basically to anti-alias and shade and so forth this yoga picture. So thank you, Phil. Time lapse, you got there before me. So yeah, safety. If you're right, the discs were like fast compared to tapes. So. Oh, try to wave, yes. Yeah, that's amazing that the first time you caught sight of me and my eternal ramblings was on Boat's little interview at Amiga Island. It was so nice of him to offer me the opportunity. I obviously watched the Amigos podcast leading up to that, but it was, I suppose it was that Amiga quiz that I just thought, oh, what the heck, what's to lose kind of thing at that event, and yeah, so that was that really. So and being sparing with memory, you're absolutely right, Jan. So you're just washing the pots whilst you're watching. Good for you, Jimmy. Good for you. So
what you can do is spread positivity wherever.
Okay, so let's see. I've got this is quite helpful. I'm just going to go full screen a moment here. Well, you know, webcam view, just so you know roughly what we're going from, so I can explain sort of some of the ethos behind this. when I draw stuff, I don't try to be exact about things because it's important to put your own spin on things. So, case in point is basically what I'm going to do to the yoga here. If you look at, say, something like the Ranma 1/2 memorial book, highly recommended if you can ever find a copy that's not $100 or more. But basically, throughout this, you will see that basically a lot of Rumiko Takahashi's drawings and so forth where, the eye colours differ and so forth between drawing to drawing. Basically what you're looking to do is capture the essence of a character rather than the actual sort of like a preset view of something. So for example, here we've got Ranma-chan with pink eyes and Ranma-kun with probably grey eyes, I'm guessing. So you might actually just slightly brown there, but most people will know Ranma for having blue eyes. So it's important never to actually. So here's Ryoga. So yeah, it's important not to get too drawn into sort of like things being a preset way, because actually if you look at some of the art of Ryoga, so Ryoga is will be top right there. He actually has sort of yellowish sort of irises and so forth. So. But in others he has slightly grey ones, so don't get too hung up on things having to be a specific way when you're looking for inspiration. But there are a few details which obviously tie in with the character, but yeah. So let's just go full screen here and crack on. I forgot to paint the pixels in the right to white. Don't know that I have, Jan, but if I'm missing something, you tell me. But yeah, I will catch that if I've missed it. So thanks, Phil. It was good fun. So let's start off by getting the little bandana coloured in the shade of yellow here, and we're going to start on the eyes as always because I always feel better when the eyes are done. So I've got a few spare colours here which we may actually put to use today, and we'll just see how we go really. I might start with this little colour here, just because that could be useful. So let's see where we get. I'm going to go for quite a light grey just to anti-alias around here, so because otherwise it's going to dominate somewhat. The other good thing about using a palette you've developed on sort of like a system like the Amiga 600 is the fact that you've got 4 bits per channel colour values, which obviously does make a difference when you're looking at an 8 bits per channel system like the AGA Amigas and pretty much every modern system. So yeah, it's quite important to factor that in when you're creating your designs, because it does have a bit of an effect on the overall outcome of your pixel art. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really cool quiz that Pixel at Dawn, Ian and Boat had put together, and yeah, it was just very, very good fun, and that's how I would describe Amiga Ireland. It was a wonderful event, and if any of you get a chance to make it, I would highly recommend it. It's basically slap bang in the middle of the island in Athlone, and yeah, it's a good event to attend, and very friendly, and yeah, I've almost certainly decided that I should be going next year, so, and yeah, can't wait really. So I'm just softening up these edges here a bit, so just getting a feel for this, because I'll be honest with you, it's been a few weeks since I last did any pixel art, and sometimes it takes a little while for my eyes to readjust to it all. I'm sure it's something that maybe some of you will agree with. If you go away from it and come back after a little while. Yeah, it's just a matter of using my colours that I have begun building up for the rest of the animation, and putting them down and just seeing what works really more than anything. There are no hard and fast rules to this, as always. obviously you want to use relatively compatible colours. My video about sort of pixel art tips is still in the offing, and I will talk about palettes and so forth in that as well, about how you can go about creating nice palettes for your pixel art, because it is a very important topic. It's very easy to just think that you have to download a palette, but actually the most important thing you can do is actually learn how to create good palettes yourself, and that's only going to become a reality through trial and error, really, more than anything, to be honest with you. So yes, look out for that video. I'm hoping that it will be out this week, although I did hope that it would have been out 2 weeks ago, but there you go. So he still needs a trust towel. You might be right there. You might be right there, Jan. I drew this just completely from memory, so there might be details about Ryoga's character that I have omitted. I will double check that before I consider this a finished done deal, shall we say. But yeah, there are probably details that I have overlooked, but I'm not aiming to copy specific artwork doing this. I just wanted to come up with something from my imagination, so there are bound to be sort of little details that I've probably overlooked. Yeah. So as ever, I'm just basically using a single pixel tool and just building from that, really, more than anything. Tends to be the general done thing. There's never enough time in the day. You're right there, Error 42, you're right. Well, I think there is enough time in the day, but the problem is that we just have to do other things during that time of the day, don't we? Like work, I guess. There's nothing wrong with work, per se. It's just what you have to do for work that sometimes is the issue, isn't it, I guess. Yeah. So that's how I would look at it, I guess. So yeah, absolute accuracy is not something that I necessarily chase, because when you're creative, you kind of need to be able to have that flexibility to kind of break free from being exact. You want it to be instantly recognisable as who the character is, if it's a known character. But on the other hand, you don't want your accuracy to become something that hinders you from being able to create something from your own imagination. I know that that's something that can affect me at times, is this need for perfection, and actually that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you've just got to cut loose a little bit and just create something from just memory or whatever's in your mind's eye, I guess. It's very important to be able to feel free enough that you're able to do so. So yeah. Okay, it's looking quite nice. Now bear in mind, I'm not going to be doing the animation tonight on this particular piece. This is just sort of like kind of the base character for Ryoga here, and yeah. How many bits per pixel is the A500? 4 bits per pixel, so if you think about it, 1 bit gives you on or off, so that's 2. 2 bits gives you a maximum value of 4. So you can have 0, 1, 2 and 3. So that's 4 bits. 2 bits. Oh, that's good, isn't it? Give you an example. I get the numbers wrong straight away. So that's 2 bits. 3 bits give you 8 numbers, so 0 through to 7. So that's your 3 bits, and that's the kind of colour bits per pixel that you have on the ST and the Mega Drive. So you've basically got R, G and B channels, each with 3 bits per channel, so a value from 0 to 7. And then you have later systems like, well, not later systems, but more clever systems like the Amiga and the Neo Geo, and I think the PC Engine is the same, but I might be wrong on this one, which does 4 bits per pixel, which is basically a value up to 15 or 16 essentially, so you've got 0 through to 15. And so that's where you will see when you look at oh, you can't be serious, do need the Deluxe Paint just to bring up the palette. Oh, okay, you want the fonts, don't you? She wants the fonts, she wants the fonts, she'll get the fonts. There it is. So basically, oh actually, of course you have an AGA Amiga, but essentially when you look at the palette values, you will see 0 through to 15 on an ECS or OCS Amiga, and that's 4 bits per channel. So yeah, so that's basically how you work that out. And here you can see you've got a value from 0 to 255 if I just ramp this up. And that's 8 bits per channel, because the largest number that you can represent with 8 bits is 255 if it's a signed integer. Is that correct? Yes, I believe it is. An unsigned integer will go up to 511. I don't think it can go up to 512, can it? Somebody's going to correct me on that, but anyway, I'm probably talking out of my hat there, so... But yeah, so that's basically it. So 4 bits per channel on an ECS or OCS Amiga, and if you're mixing colours on your AGA or whatever modern system and you need to get them to be scaled to 4 bits, so this is on Deluxe Paint AGA, I've got my right shade there, I can click on that and I can click on scale, and that will basically scale it so it's going to look good on your Amiga 500 or 600 for example. But I'm basically going to do none of that. I'm going to make sure that my palette hasn't changed by loading in my palette again, and load. Invalid drawer, get the right disc. This is very much like the old school. Oh, there certainly is. Right, Amiga and V for verify. Oh, glad you're learning a lot, Gadget. There's a lot more to go. But this is the nuts and bolts of it. So the eyes are fairly good. I might yet return to doing a bit more on these. I'm just going to soften up the details now around the eyes. So again, I'm just going to use this sort of slightly biscuity beige colour here, just to soften up these pixels here, just to just merge them in a little bit with the eye here, so that the white isn't so jarring. And yeah, that's the general basic aim there. Oh, I've got it wrong. So thanks, error 42 and Phil. Yeah, so a signed 8-bit integer goes from -128 to 127, 8 bits, and maximum unsigned value is 255. Thanks, Gadget, as well. You're right. So yeah, don't listen to me. I'm just too fluffy brained for that. So. It's been a long time since I did that kind of level of programming, so thanks for the corrections, guys. So it's important that you do correct me if I get anything wrong, because ultimately, if I'm supposedly doing this as an instruction and I'm getting information wrong, it's important for those who don't know better that they get good advice from people who do know. So the moral of the story is, don't listen to me. Okay, so. So yeah, anti-aliasing is good for expression as well, because actually you're going to get some of that slightly crazed look coming through. but you're just looking for compatible tones the whole time, and you don't want to get into sort of pillowing the colour, because if you just sort of outline your hard colour with a softer colour into the sort of like what you're merging into, all the way through, it's going to look like you're embossing the subject, and you don't really want to be doing that. So it's important just to gradually soften those tones. Let's try not the purple or the lilac shades, and we'll just go into here. So it's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So it's looking good there, and then I'm just going to perhaps take again. It just looks a bit bright against there, doesn't it? So we'll put these pixels here nonetheless, and we might be able to use just this little yellowish tone here, just to, actually that looks quite good there. Yeah, I'm preferring that, and then maybe this will be buffered by this tone here, or not. It's jarring a bit there. We might be able to just leave that where that is there actually. You're right, Phil, yes, so the top bit is set, the number is negative, so I'm the same, Gadget. Yeah, I mean, I know I comment on many of your videos, but that's the thing, isn't it? Is that when you're reading off the specifications or the stats or the knowledge off the fly, we get things wrong. So, and I've always said this to guys like Retro Man Cave, Neil, and you know, like when I post comments in videos, it's not me coming across as like, oh, you got that wrong, you know, with my geek hat on. It's I always do things in the spirit of not trying to correct, but to add increased knowledge to things, I guess. You know, and it's not a point of showing off either. It's never been about that for me. It's always just been about sharing my passion and enthusiasm for what we're all interested in, really. So yeah, so and I hope that comes across, and that's why I'm always inclusive of feedback on things, because frankly I don't know everything, and if I did, I would probably be a more boring person for it, but a more factually correct person at the same time. So every cloud. So here we've got basically the eyelashes, and these are fairly easy to soften up, I find. Once you've got your palette worked out, this is usually a fairly straightforward process of softening up these values. And yeah, so as you can see, I'm mostly using the magnified view here at the moment. I don't always use this, but tonight I'm using it quite a bit because it's quite helpful. And we can right click on the zoom tool here just to zoom out a little bit, and we can just see a little bit more at a time, which is super useful. So let's just see what we could do here just to soften up the curves. I think we can drop that there, and maybe just pop. Yeah, that's still a bit harsh there, so we're going to use this again. I might actually bring this pixel in, oops, here, like so, and I might just bridge this gap here. There we go. I'm aware that when I describe things, when I say like bridging gaps and stuff like that, it's not always the most easy to understand, but when you get in the flow of something, and I can only encourage you to practice, it does begin to make more sense. It's a more descriptive approach to sort of being able to describe sort of what's been done, I guess. So yeah. So this is kind of bridging there, but we just need to soften things up just a little bit around here, because they're just looking a little bit heavy, I'm thinking. So, and as I always say, you always want to be keeping an eye on what's going on your non-magnified view, just to make sure that you're not sort of overlooking important details, I would say. Because ultimately that's the view which most people are going to be enjoying what you've created. So hey there, sir. It is indeed live, so yes. Oh, thanks. I'm glad it comes across, Gadget, so good. Nobody likes somebody who is a know-it-all. It's always a tricky one to get that sort of balance right, I think, isn't it, sometimes? But I think these days the vast majority of people in the scene are doing it because they love it and they want to share their passion and enthusiasm for it. And yeah, we're all here to enjoy our journey through retro together is the way that I look at it. So yeah, so Yoga's left eye there is looking pretty good now, I would say. It may need a little bit of adjustment here and there, but remember, this is a frame that's going to be only on screen for, you know, sort of 1/12 of a second or so, and it's going to be a very short period of time, so we just want to get these eyes looking good. So we'll do the same on this side. So patience of a saint mode engaged. I find doing pixel art a bit like making your own bread. It's very relaxing, I find, and if you've had a day at work where you've been feeling a bit stressed out and stuff, I find that this for me is a great stress reliever. I just get stuck in and I just enjoy it, really. So I'm gonna take that off. It's interesting to see how these pixels that I'm putting around the edge here are actually blurring very nicely into the eyelash here. So let's go with the dark grey here. So yes, it's beginning to come together. Now, I do say to avoid pillowing, which is where you just basically outline your darker shades into a lighter shade, but it's getting the tones right so that you can create the illusion of a curve, I guess. So here I'm using this dark mauve, which you might not expect to use here, but it's actually a very good shade for stepping these curves in. Another little bit of flowery language there. Stepping the curves in. Basically, I'm talking about blending. I think is probably what I'm trying to say there. You can see how just the odd little pixel there can make all the difference. And you know, this is where the power of a good, well-measured out palette, and again another little bit of flowery language there, measured, thought through, I suppose is what I'm saying. You know, like you're actually considering the whole aesthetic, can make all the difference. So yeah, I felt that as well. Trying to do you mean sort of like manga, sort of Eastern style? Do you mean to say? Gadget, amen to that. Basically, everything I've done in life has just been one great big this happened and that happened and so forth happened. I've often said that if I had an idea of what to do with my life, I would be quite dangerous. So it's just as well that I don't have any plans. Yeah, but then who does? You know, like, it's this great big fallacy, isn't it, that people have to have a plan to get through life and so forth. And as you said in your video the other day, which I found very affecting, you know, this idea that we do jobs for many years and we can find ourselves quietly kind of de-skilled over time without necessarily recognising it until push comes to shove, and then we realise that what were tangible and valued skills some years ago that we felt that we could hold on to have become, I don't know, less valued over time, and we don't always recognise it, and it's important to keep ourselves current. But yeah, no, I don't think I've ever been somebody who had a plan in life. I've just gone from one thing to the next, and but my core interests have always remained the same, and that's always a good thing, I guess. Gives you some grounding at least. So yeah. Yeah, the phone was in the music. Yes, it was. I know which music you're listening to, so. Yeah, sorry, I forget which playlist we've got playing. It's, yeah, I know the track which you mean. It's not my phone. Everything's set to silent. In fact, actually, I set my phone to silent without realising it most days these days. I don't mind talking on the phone. I have no issues talking to people on the phone. I'm a bit old school like that, I guess. But when it comes to streams, everything goes into a bit of a lockdown because yeah, we want to be able to concentrate, don't we, and enjoy what we're here for. So let's just do dark grey here. So I am definitely aware that after a couple of weeks away from this, I am working a bit slower than usual, so but that's kind of good, really, because it helps you sort of understand what I'm doing, I guess. And I'm sure plenty of you do understand what I'm doing, so but a slightly slower step through is never a bad thing, is it? So let's just drop that one in there. I'm going to soften up here. So again, it's that affecting a curve, isn't it? So oh, that's already in that shade, so let's soften up a little bit further. Yeah, it's working for me there. I might even be able to drop like so. So again, I'm still looking at the left-hand side there, just to always check how this is actually looking. Yeah, it's looking fairly good. So I think he was looking around for the phone as well, Gadget. Yeah. I know what you mean, Error 42. I'm sort of at the beginning of that process as well with the whole Japan adventure, I guess. I think it's taken me a long time to realise what it is that I say what I really want to do. It is what I really want to do, but it's not always been obvious. I think I've shied away from it over the years. Because it's just easier to paycheck every day and let life go on. But then that's how 14-15 years ago, isn't it? You know, like, we just don't realise it. And yeah, so yes, it's interesting. No worries, Phil, great to see you, and yes, I will be enjoying the rest of the stream, so yeah, hope to see you again soon. It's good to hear that, Gadget. I'm glad doors are opening. Trying to wait for us an excellent question. What is my favourite Amiga tune? And I will answer that in just a moment, because I'm just going to take a little comfort break here. I'm just going to fix this pixel here, which is bugging me. And and yes, I will answer that very, very shortly. So stay tuned, folks. I will be right back. That's assuming that I don't change the colour balance of my screen before I do so. So I shall be right back. Let me just sort that out. sorry, I just had to get a little snack. Yeah, a lot of effort does go into a gadget, but I think most people do appreciate it, but we'll see. That's an awesome gadget. Yeah, that would be a cool idea, wouldn't it? So yeah, because I love music, but I just can't produce it. So, hey there, Amiga Workbench, how you doing? So, PVFM 83.7, you heard it here first, baby. Any radio show where the waffle's worth listening to? Well, if you tune in, you could be in chance for winning a fabulous package holiday to Benidorm this year. All you have to answer is, who is this voice? You can tell that I used to do radio once upon a time, but that's another story, so... You really want me to paint those pixels, don't you? Yeah, don't worry. I mean, to be honest with you, those shoulders are probably not going to be the final pixels anyway, but I'll paint them in for you nonetheless. So, my favourite Amiga tune is a very good one actually to ask, and it's a bit difficult for me to pick, especially one in general, because it sort of wavers, but I don't know what it is, but let me see if I can just bring it up here. So let me just fade out what we've got on at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can bring up an Amiga demo. Now, the start of it is not so hot, but it's got a few moments in it, which is pretty good actually. So let's just put some music on. Okay, so I'm just looking for it on YouTube, folks. There we go. Right, let's see what we've got here. I think this is it. So as I say, the actual start of it is not so hot, but it's pretty good. I've just loaded up a YouTube video here, so there might be an introduction. I'll bring the volume levels up. Yep, I think it's playing, so... So this is a demo called River Horse by Ambrosia. It's a bit silly, but once it gets past the introduction, the music is actually really rather good. But there you go. So that's it. It's River Horse by Ambrosia. It was quite a late Amiga demo. Came out around about 1995, 96 or so. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's like the very best tune you're ever going to hear coming from an Amiga, but there's just something about it that I really, really like. So there you go. It's you can find it on YouTube. If you just search for River Horse Ambrosia or River Horse Amiga demo, you'll find it. So there's just something about that tune that I really, really like. So, was that a meow yen? Might have been. Who knows? Right, so let's crack on, folks. Right, okay, so let's go full screen again here. A little bit more laid back than you was expecting, was it, Error 42? Well, you'll be... I can always surprise. There we go, Jan. Hopefully that's settled something in your mind. So let's sort out the nose. Actually, I'm just going to sort out this little eyebrow arch here. Just a little... So that does need sorting out there. Little pixel on the end there just to soften that. Maybe I might be able to get away with. No, it's going to need to be darker really, because otherwise it just trails off too much. And then we'll use this little biscuity beige shade just to soften these a little bit. Maybe I'll use a dark grey. Always tricky with these little thinner lines just to get the balance right between the shades. There we go. There we are. Exactly, China Wave, you're right. The biggest problem for the Amiga was storage, and you know, so much more could have been done if there was more mass storage available, but of course everybody still was expecting everything on one floppy disk, and we're seeing some amazing miracles being pulled off these days with very little memory and so forth. I mean, look at the new game that Pixel Glass got coming out, that what is it, Metro Siege. It's incredible what they're able to do with such limited resources, but it was just a shame with things like the CD32, you know, that had the mass storage, but just didn't have the quality of developers really to really take advantage of that mass storage that, you know, CD-ROM opened up. So yeah, it is a shame, but as I always say, there's no point worrying about what could have been, but just enjoying a wonderful legacy of what was, I suppose. So it's just that when you look at sort of things like Konami and so forth, and many of the Japanese developers were doing with things on the PC Engine Super CD-ROM, and to some extent the Mega CD, although that was blighted by lots of FMV stuff. But when you look at titles like Snatcher and stuff like that, you know, it's, you know, there's nothing about Snatcher, for example, that can't be done on an Amiga. It's just that it wasn't done, and that's a shame, really, I guess. But c'est la vie. Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it, Error 42, about the audio situation. There's a very interesting interview in Amiga User International around about May or June of 1993 with Lueg. I can never pronounce his surname, whether it's meant to be like a soft G or a hard G, but Luegbrecht or Luegbrecht, who had become the vice president or whatever of engineering at Commodore by that stage, having taken it from Bill Sidness when he was fired. And yeah, basically they were talking about the AA Plus chipset, which is like a stopgap between AGA and the AAA chipset, which Commodore was still at that point still very much intent on producing. It made some interesting reading. It hinted at the fact that they were gonna rejuvenate the idea of perhaps a DSP to provide 16-bit audio, and also allowing high density floppy disks and faster serial ports and stuff like that, and also moving the Blitter and the Copper over to full 32-bit, which would have really sped things up a lot, allowing for rock solid 72 kilohertz 72 hertz 31 kilohertz video modes for VGA monitors, which of course obviously was where AGA really fell down. So yeah, it made for some interesting reading, but there was but I'm guessing that AA Plus got cancelled really when Commodore really began to hit the buffers, sort of mid 93 or so, after another sort of really bad set of Christmas sales. And yeah, so I guess that's why we never really saw much beyond that initial interview in Amiga User International, AUI, back then, really. Very sad, but what we're left with is this wonderful Amiga 1200 that I'm currently using, so every cloud. So yeah. Yeah, I was as well, Phil, so that was a big problem, wasn't it? As Paula was the one thing that just stayed consistent throughout the entirety of the Amiga's commercial life, really, wasn't it? It's the fact that Paula remained exactly the same from the Amiga 1000 right through to the very last Amigas, like the Amiga 4000T. Very strange, but when you actually sort of look at the Amiga's hardware, it kind of makes sense why it was not touched. Paula is responsible for so much more than just audio. You know, you've got disk access, serial, and so forth. It's quite a tricky component to upgrade, I guess, and you know, with how tightly integrated the whole of the Amiga's system is. So, do I think OCS could have done an arcade perfect port of Rastan? Maybe without the parallax, perhaps. Tried a wave? Yeah. I think you'd have to forfeit the parallax to get that, so. Yeah, exactly. Aura was a good 12-bit sampler, wasn't it, Jan? Yeah. Yeah, very good sampler for as Highsoft, wasn't it? Yeah, they did some really good stuff for the Amiga back then, didn't they? I seem to vaguely think there was also... Did Highsoft also have a 16-bit sampler for the Amiga? I mean, obviously you had things like AHI that could do 14-bit output on the Amiga. But, you know, on a 68,000 Amiga you could pretty much forget that. But very impressive nonetheless. If you had no 20 it wasn't too bad. But yeah. Big fat Paula chip. Yeah, that's what we need. We need fat Paula. Admittedly, I'm spending quite a lot of time on these eyes, aren't I? But I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are as well. Just trying to find the right tones for this. We've already done this over this side. What did we do in the end? I think we just used a little bit of the little pale yellow, didn't we? That's right. I remember now. Okay, so I think we've got some nice anti-aliasing going now. I might just darken that pixel there. Just gonna tighten these up a little bit. Great. Okay, so I really honestly thought that we was going to have all of this done by the end of today, but I think I can pretty much rule it out because I've now been streaming for almost 2 hours, and I think basically what I'm likely to do is finish off the eyes and the eyebrows and stuff, but I think realistically I'm going to call the stream once I've done the eyes in full, and probably reconvene with this tomorrow evening actually. I know it sounds a bit crazy given that we've not streamed very much at all the past month or so, but now that I've actually managed to get most of my most important work done, I'm actually relatively free this week to do a little bit of extra streaming, so we'll be able to pick this up in earnest, and I will continue doing this on the Amiga 1200 here as well, as that seems the right and proper thing to do. So your PC crashed. No worries, Gadget. No worries. See, what you need to do is be watching the stream on the Amiga. That's not going to work, is it? So I don't know if any of these new fancy Amigas that they sell these days that do apparently YouTube and PowerPC or whatever it is. So I guess if you have one of those you can watch your YouTube on it, but yeah. Mind you, on the Amiga you might be getting Guru Meditation, so every cloud. Let's get this anti-aliasing right around here. Just want to get a nicely stepped in curve here. So yes, this part is, you know, it is slow progress. It always is. Those of you familiar with my streams will know that this bit is slow progress part. But the end result is what actually really counts with this. That's what I've always told myself. When you can sit back and think, yeah, I created that, and I have every reason to feel proud of it. It's just a gradual process. It's pixeling and stuff. So yeah, and the more you do it, the more you become accustomed to what generally works, I find. I'm finding that having not done any sort of pixel art for even a couple of weeks or so, maybe a bit longer, it's amazing how much you tune into it if you were working on it, and soon sort of tune out of it when you've stopped. So yeah. Yeah, try to do send it over. Obviously on Twitter is great, so please do send it over, and I'm sure there isn't that much wrong with it at all. So maybe you should do a post swag stream next time you can get on with your normal stream. Totally, yeah. didn't really think of that, did I? I just lurched into sort of sharing all of the latest and catching up with you guys, really. The PV fam are obviously being greatly missed, and you know, I just felt like it was time for a bit of a good old catch up, so okay, so I think we're looking quite good now. I'm just gonna tone down this black pixel here. There we go, look at that, looking good. So let's look at the eyebrow over here. So again, I'm using my Magic Mauve. Magic Mauve is the order of the day. I'd say I'm thinking of wrapping the stream, but I might play a bit of Rainbow Islands at the end of this, guys, if you're interested. So I did have the PC engine ready to go to play a bit of Blazing Lasers, but I might do a bit of Rainbow Islands. Let's see how we go. On the Amiga, of course, obviously. Although that said, the Amiga it's on is underneath the settee there, so but yeah, let's finish off Ryoga's eyes, and we're going to look at doing a bit more on yoga tomorrow, I think, because it's getting to that time of the day where I need to wind my concentration down a little. That's the thing with pixel art, it very much requires the powers of concentration, doesn't it? It's looking quite good there. Let's drag my Magic Mauve over a bit. Looking good. I'll just drop that in there like so. Like so. Okay. Let's bring that there. And maybe shade that there. I might just see what this does. Yeah, actually that's fine by me. There we are. That's Ryoga's eyes, I think, pretty much. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, I do agree, Jan. You could create beautiful music on the Amiga. It was the problem is that damn STO1 disc, wasn't it? You could hear the samples that were on that disc in so many Amiga games and mods and stuff. And but I just guessed that people didn't have the sampling hardware and they were just doing what they could with what they had available to them. So, and I can hardly blame them for that. So, more power to their creative urge to create something even with the STO1 disc. So, but then far be it for me to be critical, because as I say, I don't have a creatively musical bone in my body. I love music. I used to be a DJ. You know, it's a big passion of mine is music. But I just don't have the know-how how to actually create it, particularly in something like Optimed or Pro Tracker. Yeah, Apidia's music is great, isn't it? Maybe we could play some Apidia, actually. That's a good shout, actually, Error 42. Let's play some Apidia. Right, so what we've managed today is essentially to anti-alias Ryoga's eyes. I feel like I've not quite done enough, but we are going to do a lot more. So don't worry, we're going to return to this tomorrow evening, as I feel that we must. And you know, I've got all of these lovely patterns to do of Ryoga's little bandana here that we're going to have to do. And usually, if I remember rightly, Ryoga's bandana has these little sort of almost arrow-like designs on the bandana. Going from memory here, but that's how I remember it. And yeah, so we'll play some Arpeggio in a minute. So we won't be going on for much longer though overall, folks, because mostly because Arpeggio is gonna probably kick my backside, and I've not eaten dinner yet, so let's get these arrows the same. So I might need to make these a bit shorter actually. They're a little bit too big there. Here we are. And then what I can do is I can just kind of patch together this neckerchief pattern, which I shall actually I'm just going to make that the background colour so I can use some transparency there. And let's see what we can do. Oh. No, not that. Half. Oh dear, I'm doing this all wrong. I can't remember the shortcuts now. Let's just stick with Z. Z works. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how this pattern's gonna go. But it'll be something along these lines. So not entirely like this. This is a little bit too preordained, if that's the right expression to use. It looks a bit false, but it'll be along those lines anyway. But it's definitely chevrons anyway that appear in Ryoga's little bandana there. So exactly, and Zenon, you're quite right, trying to say, yeah. I did that as well, error 42. That's why I always got called foghorn in my maths lessons by Mr. Bedford. So, but maths was boring, so I think it was justified me having conversations with my friends. Anyway, so let's save this. So we'll call this 1A because this is the first time that we've actually started doing any of the colouring. I've called it A1 there. I didn't mean to. Okay, let's just make sure Workbench switch back on so I can rename that. My wonderful, beautiful new Amiga 1200 appears to have frozen. Hooray! Doesn't want to open Workbench for some reason. Anyway, work is saved, so better be. Otherwise I'm not going to be happy. I wonder why it froze. Amigas never usually freeze like that, so usually it's when you're loading something that they do something silly like that. So let's just double check my work is actually saved, because that would be rather annoying, wouldn't it? So I'm sure it's fine. So yeah, it's like 15 bytes worth of data there, so I'm pretty certain it's okay. Let's just double check. And I've got my Arpeggio discs just here, so, and my trusty zip stick. It's in the drive, isn't it? I think it's this one. Put that on the side a minute, just in case I'm getting confused there. Arpeggio time, yes, absolutely try to wave. Huh. It's... Yeah, I know you can't open it, but put the right disc in and you didn't want to know. There, see? Ah, dear. She's been finicky this evening. She'll soon learn now. I'll have her in good order before long. one thing that always surprised me about the Amiga 1200 is just how big it is when compared to an Amiga 600. I'm just so used to that machine. It's quite impressive, really, when you look at one big hulk of goodness. So, I don't know why it crashed before, though. It was mildly annoying, but it'd be more annoying if I had not saved my work beforehand. But I think actually it's going to moan at me that I don't have the disc in if I do that. Very much. This goes in. I did say I wasn't going to do anything to this Amiga, but I have to say it would be rather nice to have a compact flash card in here. But there again, with my Amiga 1200 and all the Amigas before that, I didn't have a hard disk for so many years.
Grow into something magical and wonderful. And it'll help others.
Yes, please.
It'll help them to grow. Like a chain reaction.
Yay, it's all there. I wonder if Workbench, opening Workbench, crashes it again.
Then others keep helping others and others and
It's
others.
happy this time. There is no Workbench. How can that be called as useful? Maybe it's because it wants a Workbench disk in there.
You're still growing as a person. Just fulfill your potential.
Who knows? All I know is it's been rather strange. I guess that's what happens when you don't have the boot disk in the drive. So anyway, everything's safe, everything is fine. Let's put these over here and we're going to play some Amiga. I'm just going to switch the 1200 off just so that I can plug in the joystick. We don't want any blown CIAs. But yes, my Amiga 1200 didn't have a hard disk for, I'm going to say, about 6 months or so. And that was when the rot started in, really, with my Amiga 1200, because rather than buying a properly sized 2.5-inch IDE drive, I bought a 3.5-inch one. Which of course immediately broke all the back clips on the machine. And then I started to try and fix it with super glue, which of course never worked. So I had an Amiga 1200 that was covered in glue and a very noisy 3.5-inch IDE drive in it. And then the accelerator came along and you had to prop the Amiga up and you know, to let the airflow go through, and it just got worse from there, really. Let's make sure you've got some Amiga audio as well, because the PG's music is awesome. Chris Huell's back, so let's get this right. I will turn off the music that you have been listening to, and we'll have some Amiga music. Oh, I've literally got no mouse space here, so oops. And drop the mouse. There we go. And now the mouse is not responding. There we go. Let's get the levels right. Hopefully this is good, guys. Let me know. Hopefully the audio levels go. When I will wish to create a game in Red Pill, ask Tread Away. I've never tried. Never tried. I hear that you really need to know 30 for the games that you make on it. Can you hear the audio, good guys? Loud and clear. Awesome. Thanks, Era42. I'm just going to make sure that I've got the music as well, because I don't want to miss out on this, because it is rocking. I'll leave the level at normal. I have no idea whether joystick makes any difference there, and we will just say I want to put every 20,000. We'll just leave it the same basically. And now it's going to want this too. I know this. Here we go. But yes, Red Pill does interest me a great deal actually, but yeah, I've not yet got onto it, so I'm going to use Autofire, folks, which means that I won't be using the sort of like the big weapon, shall we say, just because we're going to get nowhere at all if I don't have Autofire on. Ah, as already exhibited. Oh, I'm not sure how I survived that, but I did. So I'm using my trusty zip stick here, so the squeak stick, shall we say. It's been a little while since I played a PGS, so my gameplay may be a bit gung-ho, it has to be said. And also I've had a couple of beers tonight, so never the best way to prepare yourself for schmupping, shall we say. But it got me. Damn. Which means my power-ups have all been reset. Ooh. Ache. Thank God I got the invincibility from the mushroom, otherwise I would be absolutely ruined by now. I can play a PGA better than this, folks. Just not tonight. There we go. They just require so much concentration, schmucks, and when you've had a couple of beers, it's just pointless, isn't it? And also I'm trying to follow chat, which is just a recipe for disaster, isn't it? Okay, I've not got my little invincibility now. It is rock hard, but I... Okay, let's just say this is a test run to warm me up to it again. I've never completed the Pidgeot, but I have gotten a bit further than what I'm demonstrating here, it has to be said. Ugh. That was awful. Not very proud of that, I'll be honest. But never mind, eh? Bit more like it. Ooh, got a little spread shot going there, that's better. Ooh! A bit tight there. At least you don't have to restart the stage entirely again, I suppose, so that's something. I'll get my little red friend there. Oh, I missed a few useful attack waves there. Oh. You're out of there, Mr. Snail. You're out of there. But yeah, the graphics and the sound in this game are just so awesome. It's a shame I'm occupying one of the Amiga sound channels with my Autofire, but never mind, eh? That was going so well. Ooh. Stay with me, stay with me. There we go. Ah! Okay. Shmups don't make good games for following live stream chat on, do they, really? Let's be honest. Oh! Try to just nail him there, so. Love the music in this game, yes, me too as well, Gadget, so. A couple of bits always ways to tackle a video, I totally agree, trying away to say. Over 40 says, I struggled this one, but loved playing it, the music was, yeah, and the graphics blew you away, you're absolutely right, so. You've watched Jamie Morgan play it too many times. Absolutely, Gadget. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We all did that, didn't we? Some trains were great, like the was it Paradox or Paranomia? They had some amazing trainer music. Yeah, Zydex speakers. I remember seeing those in the magazines. But yes, I went on to SNES after the Amiga Gadget, so I was never a Mega Drive kid back in the day, but I had friends with Mega Drives, but I soon picked up a Mega Drive in later years. There we go, that's a bit better. My thumb's even hurting from just having the autofire on, let alone actually having to hammer that button. They must have had thumbs of steel as the playtesters on this. And when I say playtesters, the developers. Because let's face it, it wasn't going to be actual playtesters that probably playtested this. That's better. Oh no, man. Eek, eek, eek. Eek, eek. Ah! Oh, come on. I can usually do so much better than this, but... oh, whatever. I think we're going to start again, because I've ruined all my continues as it is, so... It is hard trying to wave. There's no doubt about it, but the more you play it, the better you definitely become at it. Obviously that's true for most people, as I've played this game quite a lot, and as you can see. But yeah, the difficulty on shmups, classic shmups anyway, does tend to be a bit on the rock hard side, doesn't it? Ah. I still enjoy it though. There's very little that could stop me enjoying this game, it has to be said. That's a bit more like it. One thing that's taken me a little while to get used to again is actually playing a shmup with a joystick, because I've been playing so many shmups on the PC Engine of late, and yeah, just totally got used to using a joypad, or controller as most people call them these days, it seems. There were always joypads in my day. I guess there's a snail. Oh, you'll forgive me. Thanks, Phil. I'm glad. I will catch up with the chat in a minute, folks. It's just that, as you can see, I've got my hands rather tied up here. Almost snuck in there, but not quite. Oh, that was close. Eek. Oh, you used to use mod for Windows when you abandoned ship. Right. I'm not going to relent. I'm going to do this. Going to concentrate now. Because obviously I wasn't concentrating before. Said everybody who has had a game nailed them to the post. That didn't just happen. Neither did... Oh. Right, I am better than this, I promise you. But that's appalling gameplay. Facepalm, definitely. Right, come on. Too late. Too late. Come to Mama. There we go. That's better. Get Mr. Snail Face. I see what you mean about upside down sheep now, Phil. Just keeping my concentration as best as possible here, folks, but we all know how that usually ends up, so... Yes. Right, okay, that's better. A bit more like it. I'll just keep this position for a moment. Yay! And let's do the bonus stage, why not? So yeah, this is it, you see, I've played this game too much, Phil. But that's the whole thing with shmups, isn't it? It's actually memorization, actually. Always has been. Doesn't matter what shmup it is. Ah! Oh, that was close. You'll always do better if you can remember what's coming next. Ah! It's got me. Don't want to lose all my power-ups if I can help it. This stage's music... Oh, damn. It's just epic. Oof. Lost it now. Lost my little bit of concentration that I had, I think, there. And I think it's also knowing what each enemy does, isn't it? That's the key thing. So ruined this for myself this time around, I think. Oh, I just flew straight into that. Exactly, yeah, the blitter is definitely earning its place in this game, isn't it? Definitely, Phil. That was the thing that was so impressive about it, was just how much it flew around. I wonder if the foreground objects are actually sprites being used, because those do tend to sit on top, well, they do sit on top of everything, don't they? On the Amiga. And... oh, die, 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 die. Do nicely. Hurrah! Let's get you, butterfly. I'm not usually that harmful to wildlife. You bought all the Crucials CDs back in the day. That's awesome, Try to Wave. What a composer. What a composer. Voila. See if we can get our extra life with a bit of luck. $20,000's the target. Ah, spoke too soon. I just knew that was going to happen. I could see it happening, and I just sat there like a lemon. Gonna be back to the pea shooter if I'm not careful. Yes. Hurrah. Oh man, should not follow the ladybirds. Ooh. Yeah, just never going to get those with the level of weapons that I've currently got. get down low enough? No, I can't. That's the problem. You can never get down low enough. Hey, Doug, how you doing? Oh, wow, you've been get the words out. Programming in your VIC-20. That's awesome. Hope all's well there in Arizona, so... We were doing pixel art, but now we're doing Apidia badly, so... There's just so much stuff. Ow. That's awesome, Doug. I'm glad there's more submissions. So yes, Doug and I are running a Amiga art competition, which you're all welcome to enter. Should have actually mentioned that at the top of the stream, I suppose. I'm so getting near to the post, so I'll tweet the details if you've not seen it, but I'm sure many of you have. Oh, my thumb hurts. Let's put it on easy. Hey Duncan, how you doing? Oh, I don't usually stick this on easy, but as I say, a couple of beers in and it does have an effect. It does on me anyway. Other people might be more professional than I am in that regard. Why have I not got my extra power up yet? That's what I want to know. Why am I not dropping bombs on you guys? Feels like I've been cheated out of something here. Or have I set it on manual weapon select? It's possible, I guess. That's going to make things easier, isn't it? Not. Let me just make sure I've not got manual weapon selected here. Dang, how did that happen? You loved the video with the suit. Oh yeah, you're not going to see me in a suit very well. If you come to Japan, you might see me in it more often. But thank you. Yeah, I don't know the last time that I wore a suit, to be honest with you. Like that. I'm the queen of smart casual, as I said on Twitter. I can look very smart, but I tend to do it by wearing jumpsuits and stuff like that and jackets, but never to that degree. I'm much more at home in a hoodie and jeans and short, if you ask me. So, but who isn't? I mean, it's all well and good, you know, make yourself smart, but it just felt rather distinctly unlike me for a little while. But yeah, no, it went fine. It's always nerve-wracking recording yourself, but I have to say the streaming probably helped me a little bit for that. So, you know, some experience of talking to myself. Well, relatively speaking. I'm not going to get my... Oh, no, just got it last chance. Oh, it's just all too frenetic for me, even on easy. Yay, you're dead. And I've got the pea shooter. Woohoo! Never going to be able to get you if I'm not careful. Just crash into the ground. I don't want to do that. Doing this the hard way. Ah! This is a problem. I just get so... Ugh. I looked the part. Oh, thanks, Sarah 42. So... Yes, it's probably nearly 10 here, actually. Yes, you're right. Yeah, it's a wee bit late here. And as I've not eaten dinner yet, oh. I think I've tried. Come on, I can do this. Let's think. I can do this. Right, last go, folks, because I'm going to need to get that dinner that I've said I've not yet had. So, thankfully, it's just salad and gnocchi tonight. So, nice and easy. Okay, that's not bad going there. Make sure Mr. Snail doesn't eat me all up. Et voila. Let's go ahead more. You're out of there, Mr. Stag Beetle. Whew. Wow. That's better. I have to say, I'm rocking it in the easy level. Oh, yes. Yeah, I was going to say, Indiana's absolutely miles away from Arizona, isn't it? The picture isn't a fair game. I think you might be right there. I just expect good things for myself, I guess. Ah! Alright. That knackers that one. Oh! Eek. Oh, you're gonna get me, aren't you, you little swine bag? Ah! Oh well, we got to stage 1 too. Hooray me! Oh dear. Oh, I haven't got my little bomb to drop on them, have I? There we go. I think one of the things that makes Wikipedia really tricky is it's really hard to judge when you're about to hit the ground, and there's many a time where you will stay in this position and somehow die. How did I die there? But I did. And it's very hard to judge when you should not get hit. Whistling? I don't remember whistling. Did I whistle? I probably squealed. Hey there, William. How you doing? It is very unforgiving. You're right, Trider Wave. Absolutely. Hope you're doing well. All of you guys, thanks for joining me this evening. I did say I was going to wrap this stream up about an hour ago, but I'm too busy dying. Right, come on. Let's do this. Despite its unforgiving nature, I do love this game, and I can do a lot better when I've, as I say, not had a couple of drinks, which are very destructive on my quality of gameplay. There we go. So, nicely powered up there. You was doing yard work. Oh, good for you. I must say I've been doing quite a bit of tidying up today as well, in between all of my recording my sample lesson in Japanese, and well, not in Japanese but for Japan, so I can just about introduce myself in Japanese, but that's about as far as it goes, sadly, at the moment. But we're working on it, aren't we? There we go, around we go. Drive me around the bend, you guys are. Oh, there we go. There's the butterfly effect for you. Cause and consequence. Excuse me, I don't think you read the script. You're meant to be not there. I'd rather you were dead. Oh! I think that I'd call that a draw. It's a draw, isn't it? Oh. By the skin of my teeth, I reckon we've snagged that. Yep. That's better. That's better. Eek! Die! Oh, we've got the furthest we have done so far, so that's something, isn't it? So, every cloud. Get rid of you, and a nice little hidden grasshopper there. Ah. Just keep here, let's get you, okay. Okay, we're doing okay now, so we should be... There we go, end of stage boss of sorts. I've never met a mole that belched fire before, but I'm glad that I haven't. Yeah! Woohoo! Yeah, it's my favourite tune as well, so... Oh, 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 oh. And so ends my baboon impression. I hope you enjoyed that. Tune in next week for sounds of giraffes in Africa. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, this makes me make funny noises, this game. It's so tough. Yeah, on the VIC-20 front, if you've not checked it out, check out the 8-Bit guy's latest video. It's so cool what he's doing. There's many others involved in the project as well, but yeah, some really cool VIC-20 love going on at the moment, so always good to see. Ooh, 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 ooh. Man alive. Oh, Game over. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there. I feel that I've acquitted myself somewhat getting to the third stage there, so... Wrong one. There we go. Stream's not over yet, guys. It almost is so, unfortunately, because it's got to that time of the evening where I'm a little bit on the peckish side. Yeah, let's just flick the audio back on here. Still playing apparently. There we go. I've muted it properly this time. Yes. Yeah, it's uplifting going some of the purpose with a tune. Yeah, I absolutely agree there, Error 42, so... Yeah, the Futurist 8-Bit are doing some amazing stuff at the minute, so... Yes, I've had that, William, don't worry. I've often had a bit too much to drink and thought, I don't know which way is up anymore, so... And then I started playing video games. Boom tish! Yeah, Error 42, I'm sure I've had that before with... ooh, I'm over here, camera. There we go. I've had that before, I'm sure, so... Oh, thanks everybody. I don't feel that that was my best at a video. I can get to stage... I'm pretty certain I get to the third overall stage, so 3-1, but after that I'm just absolute toast. Yeah, so... But I still always come back to it, so it's been really good to put the retro bench, get the words out, retro bench, Amiga 1200 for its paces. It's working like an absolute champ. I think is what I can take from that. Beautiful machine, and one that I hope to make a lot of use of. So I know it wasn't as pixel focused as I thought it would be this evening. There's just been so much to catch up on, I guess, guys, hasn't there? So, and it's been really lovely to catch up with you. So yeah, thank you, Tridaway, Duncan and Error 42, William and Doug in the chat, and I'm not sure if Jan's still here or who else has been along for the ride. There's been so many of you, and you know, it's been really good fun to catch up again. So there will be another stream tomorrow night, double whammy, double billing. Because obviously I will be finishing off the year, but Hibiki pixel art tomorrow, so obviously tomorrow night is a school night, so I'll just be on the fruit juice or the tea, so it means that I'll actually make some decent progress rather than procrastinating whilst I gently drink on a beer. So but yeah, it's been really good to catch up with you all, so but yeah, so yes, I hope you're all doing well, and yeah, so I'll let you know tomorrow what time the stream will be on. Probably going to be about 8 PM UK time, so 8 PM BST, 7 PM UTC. Do look out for that. I will announce it on Twitter and obviously on the YouTube. So, oh, Phil, yes, glad you're still here. So it's lovely to see you. And what a chancing to find one of your letters in January '95 CU Amiga. So yes, always good to see those letters that we posted into the magazines, archived for all time in the hallowed pages of those many favourite Amiga magazines that we all had back in the day. So you're more than welcome. Thanks, William. It's so nice to have such lovely feedback from you guys. And all it remains for me to say is have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow evening probably. Peace.